Welcome to this lecture on partial and multiple correlation. Today we will explore how to untangle messy real-world data where multiple variables interact simultaneously. In statistics, things are rarely as simple as one cause and one effect. By the end of this video, you will understand how to isolate true relationships and build powerful predictive models using these advanced correlation techniques. Imagine trying to understand what makes a student score high marks. You know study hours matter, but sleep matters too. If we just look at studying and marks, we are doing simple correlation. But real life is messy. What if students who study more also sleep less? To truly understand the relationship between just two things, we need a way to remove the hidden effect of a third thing. Alternatively, to predict marks perfectly, we should combine both study and sleep into one model. This is exactly what partial and multiple correlation allow us to do. Now that we understand the big picture, let us look at partial correlation. Imagine a coastal city where ice cream sales and shark attacks both go up at the same time. A simple correlation might suggest eating ice cream causes shark attacks. But the hidden third factor is summer heat. Hot weather causes both. Partial correlation is a mathematical tool that lets us freeze or remove the effect of temperature. It tells us the true relationship between ice cream and sharks while keeping temperature constant. In statistics, it measures the association between two variables with the effect of controlling variables completely removed. This brings us to the mathematical definition. For three variables, x1, x2 and x3, the partial correlation between x1 and x2, keeping x3 constant, is denoted by R12.3. The formula subtracts the overlapping influence of the third variable from the direct relationship between the first two. The denominator acts as a scaling factor to ensure the final result stays within the standard correlation boundaries of -1 and +1. Notice what happens physically if the third variable has absolutely no correlation with the other two. The formula simply collapses back to the simple correlation R12, proving that if the third variable is unrelated, it has no hidden influence to remove. Let us see this formula in action with a concrete example. Suppose we are studying the relationship between a person's weight, x1, and blood pressure, x2, while controlling for age, x3. We are given the simple correlations. Weight and blood pressure is 0.7, weight and age is 0.5, and blood pressure and age is 0.5. We want to find the pure relationship between weight and blood pressure by removing the effect of age. We start by substituting these values directly into our partial correlation formula. Continuing with our calculation, we need to carefully simplify the numerator and the denominator step by step. In the numerator, multiplying 0.5 by 0.5 gives us 0.25. Subtracting this overlapping variance from the direct correlation of 0.7 leaves us with 0.45. Down in the denominator, squaring 0.5 also gives 0.25. Subtracting this from 1 gives 0.75 under both of the square roots. When you multiply the square root of 0.75 by itself, the square root simply disappears, leaving us with exactly 0.75 in the denominator. Finally, we are left with a simple division problem. We divide 0.45 by 0.75. This gives us our final partial correlation coefficient of 0.6. Physically, this means that when we hold age constant, the correlation between weight and blood pressure drops from 0.7 to 0.6. The original correlation was slightly inflated because older people tend to weigh more and have higher blood pressure. We have successfully uncovered the true, slightly weaker relationship. Now let us look at the other side of the coin, multiple correlation. Instead of removing a variable, what if we want to team variables up to make a better prediction? Imagine a farmer predicting wheat harvest using both rainfall and fertilizer. Multiple correlation measures how well a team of variables can jointly predict a single target variable. For a three-variable system, we denote this with a capital R 1.23. It looks at the maximum possible correlation between the first variable and the best possible linear combination of the other variables. Here is the mathematical formula for multiple correlation. Capital R 1.23 is the multiple correlation coefficient. The numerator combines the individual predictive powers of variable 2 and variable 3, but then it subtracts a term at the very end. This subtraction is absolutely crucial because variables 2 and 3 might overlap in what they predict. We must subtract this overlap so we do not double count their combined effort. The denominator adjusts for the relationship between the two predicting variables themselves. Because we are taking a principal square root of the entire expression, the final value of capital R will always be positive. Before we calculate anything, we must understand the mathematical properties of the multiple correlation coefficient. First, it is always between 0 and 1. Unlike simple correlation, it is never negative because it only measures the overall strength of the combined prediction. Second, it is at least as large as the absolute value of the largest simple correlation involved. This makes logical sense. Adding more information to a prediction model can only improve your prediction, or at worst, keep it exactly the same. It can never make it worse. Just as we square simple correlation, we can square the multiple correlation coefficient to get the coefficient of determination, denoted as capital R squared. This has a very powerful physical interpretation. It represents the exact proportion of variance in the target variable that is explained jointly by the predictors. For example, if R squared is 0.64, it means 64% of the fluctuations in variable 1 can be perfectly explained by variables 2 and 3. The remaining 36% is due to unknown factors or random noise. Let us visualize this concept of shared variance. Here, we see a Venn diagram representing the three variables. The top circle is our target variable, x1. The overlapping regions with x2 and x3 represent the variance that those predictors can explain. The total combined overlapping area inside the x1 circle is exactly what the coefficient of determination calculates. By looking at this, you can easily see why adding a second predictor increases the total explained area, proving why multiple correlation is always greater than or equal to simple correlation. Let us solve a practical problem to see exactly how multiple correlation is calculated. Suppose a university wants to predict a student's final college GPA, which we will call X1. They use high school GPA, called X2, and standardized test scores, called X3, to make this prediction. The simple correlations are given as follows. College GPA and high school GPA is 0.6, college GPA and test scores is 0.4, and high school GPA and test scores is 0.5. We will first calculate the coefficient of determination, R squared, by substituting these values into our formula without the square root. Continuing our calculation, we first square the simple correlations. Squaring 0.6 gives 0.36, and squaring 0.4 gives 0.16. In the subtraction term, multiplying 2 by 0.6, then by 0.4, and then by 0.5 gives us 0.24. In the denominator, squaring 0.5 gives 0.25. Now, we perform the addition and subtraction in the numerator, which simplifies neatly to 0.28, and the denominator simplifies to 0.75. Finally, we divide 0.28 by 0.75 to get our coefficient of determination, which is approximately 0.3733. This means the predictors jointly explain about 37% of the variance in college GPA. To find the multiple correlation coefficient, we take the square root of this value. The final answer is approximately 0.611. Notice this is greater than both simple correlations of zero point 0.6 and zero point 0.4, demonstrating that combining predictors gives a stronger overall correlation. Now that we have mastered the three-variable case, it is important to note that these concepts extend to many more variables. In real-world data science, we often predict outcomes using tens or hundreds of variables. Expanding these concepts leads directly into the field of multiple regression. However, the underlying logic remains exactly the same. Partial correlation removes the hidden influence of all other variables, and multiple correlation measures the combined predictive power of the entire team of variables. To summarize, understanding partial and multiple correlation is critical for working with real-world data. Partial correlation prevents us from making false conclusions by controlling for hidden factors like age in medical research. Multiple correlation allows economists to build accurate models by combining multiple drivers like interest rates and employment. Together, these tools prevent us from being fooled by overlapping data and form the mathematical foundation for modern machine learning algorithms. You now have a solid understanding of how to untangle complex webs of variables.